Like we didn't know how the crowd were going to take us because it's a more indie festival, and we were the only heavy band on the bill, but we had a really good show. And then after that we kind of climaxed with Reading in August, and that was just insane. It was like 60,000 people, and Ian did like this wall of death thing where he split the crowd down the middle and they all charged towards each other in Shinobi, and we just thought that like we were going to get serious injuries, but luckily no one was, and we have it as evidence on DVD, and it's just ridiculous.
There was two highlights for me of that year, which were, the first one was Reading.
Yeah.
It was the Reading Festival. We played the main stage. We'd gone, that blew us away as well. In fact, we were playing main stage at Reading, like 4 from top. And
yeah.
And it was the year that Rasmus got bottled off. We were like nervous at that point, kind of before we went on stage. We were like, man, the Rasmus got bottled off. We're
gonna get destroyed.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder how people are gonna take to us. And I remember standing on the side of the stage, and like our backdrop went down, and it was like this big roar. Like everyone was, the crowd sounded like it was gonna be cool, and we went on, and it's possibly the best show I've ever played. It was just like, we were just playing, and it was like, I don't know how many people are Reading, 60,000 or whatever it is, I don't know. I just looked out and it was just like people like jumping. I was just like, wow. After that, then we did our first show at the CIA in Cardiff. That and Reading, like the highlights of everything we've done so far to me at that point. And to kind of finish off touring, start something basically, playing the arena in Cardiff was pretty amazing, I thought.
Yes, sir.
High five.
In March 2005, the band were to experience an unexpected departure when their drummer Mike Chipling quit the band whilst they were still writing their third album, Liberation Transmission.
Well, we say we've had our fun.
Come up with this idea of renting a house out.
And all of us living together.
All of us living in a house.
Set up a studio.
Set up like a room in the house, which was in the country, away from everyone. And we'd live there, and we'd wake up every day, we'd go and jam and write songs. And the night we hang out. It started off alright, it started off cool. We wrote a bunch of songs and it was alright, and then like Mike never really didn't seem to get involved. He spent a lot of time by himself and going home a lot and whatever, and then I don't know.
We thought it was cool, like he's just going to see his kids, it's fine. And we'd be writing songs. Come write some songs. He's like, I'll be down in a minute. It's like, come on. And he just never really.
Yeah, he just
didn't hang out or do anything. So
like we'd all be there, we'd all be there till 4 a.m, like
tweaking songs on Pro Tools and
doing things or whatever, and yeah, he just didn't seem into it. And then it all kind of came to like a big argument one day, and we left. That was that.
Yeah, bizarre.
Standing on the rooftops, everybody scream your heart out. Standing on the rooftops, everybody scream your heart out. Standing on the rooftops, everybody scream your heart out. This is all we got now, everybody scream your heart out.
Undeterred by the loss of a founding member, Ian, Jamie, Mike, Stuart and Lee came up with the idea of recruiting another legendary producer, the aptly named Bob Rock, to put them through their paces with the new songs.
We kept on like throwing names around, and it wasn't said as to say it was said as a joke is wrong, but it was definitely said in a way that we never thought that it would happen. We were throwing around these big name producers names,
like Matt Lang.
Matt Lang, we get Matt Lang to produce our record. He did Back in Black. He make us sound amazing.
Yeah.
And all these other guys, and we said as a joke one day, Bob Rock. We were like, we get Bob Rock. Did Black Album sounded good?
Yeah,
Dr. Feelgood sounded
Bon
amazing.
Jovi, all that stuff.
And little did I know that Ian had mentioned it to our manager. And our manager was like, that sounds awesome, Bob Rock doing your guys' record. Next thing I knew, we were on the phone to Bob Rock with him talking to us on a conference call. And he was like, yeah, I like you guys, you know. Kind of, we were just like, our jaws were on the floor the fact that Bob Rock knew who we were.
Yeah.
And we were like, Bob Rock likes our band. We flew to like Vancouver to meet with Bob and
Going a bit of an argument.
going in an argument with Bob, which was pretty interesting.
It was surreal for a start. It's like it started out, he came out to, we were in LA and we did like 2 months of pre-production and Bob was always going to turn up and then he was like, you know, I'm running late, and then eventually got there. Yeah, so then Bob finally turns up in the studio and we'd been there like an hour or two and he was throwing suggestions at us, and then we got into some argument about something and he literally just sat over in the corner and said, I don't think this is going to work. And like, wow, he's like totally sulking about it, and we, you know, we were like, we thought the same thing, but then we managed to somehow, we worked through that. I think he kind of in the end admired that we weren't going to give in to everything he said just because he was Bob Rock.
So we sat in the control room. He was like, oh, you know, let's have a listen to the demos you've done then. You know, let's put them on and we'll go through them all and we'll make notes. Basically like the start of pre-production, really.
Yeah.
And
so he puts the first song on and the riff comes in. He's like, ah, pretty good. And the verse comes in. He's like, yeah. And then this other bit comes in. He's like, I like it. Yeah, it's good. And then the chorus kicks in. And he looks at us. He stands up, turns her off, says, you're kidding me, right? You think this is good? And we're all like,
we're all just like, ooh. And you can literally like the atmosphere in the room when like we couldn't see each other. It was so thick.
I know. So we all just look at Ian because he was good up until then, but then as soon as he started singing the chorus, which we did comment on the lyrics not being maybe up to scratch, we all went, Ian?
Ian kind of like whatever, and then
overly defended himself,
yeah. But
being a singer, you know.
But I think that was kind of Bob's technique. I think it was kind of his. Like,
he's a bully.
Yeah, he's like overly harsh.
He apologized just a couple of months later.
Yeah, he did. He was like, you know, I was just trying to
bust your balls.
He was just trying to rile us to kind of make, you know, get a reaction out of us and stuff. I don't think we give Bob enough credit for his part in the record. I think.
No.
I think he really did kick our ass.
We tracked all the drums in LA. That was a pretty mad experience because we had Josh Freese, who's like famous for playing drums on so many records like Queens of the Stone Age and just a ton of other bands, Perfect Circle. So we had him on drums. It was ridiculous. And then we got Bob Rock in the control room shouting orders at us. And so we tracked the drums in, a little bit of bass. I think we had a week off. And then we shipped out to Hawaii for 5 weeks.
It's kind of funny as well when Bob was like, oh yeah, I'll do your record, but you'll have to do it at my studio. And we were like, all right, cool. Where's your studio? He was like, Hawaii. We were like,
all right.
So it was like the end of 2005. Then we went to Hawaii.
And the difference between Bob and Eric was, I did my bass in 2 weeks on a starts thing. With Bob, I did it in 2 days. And I was like, get me out of here. This is awesome. So I went to Hawaii and I was already done. Like, we finished my bass and I got married. We had a week off or 2 weeks off. Yeah. Then we went off and I didn't have nothing to do. So I'll just come and hang out in Hawaii for a bit.
I remember the boys picked me up from the airport because they'd been there a week longer than me. So they drive me from the airport. We're just driving through cornfields and then up into these mountains, and it's just pouring down with rain. It's pretty much like being in Wales, but we're like staying in this house totally in the middle of nowhere in this tiny little village. And it's like a mile drive downhill to Bob's like massive mansion every day. So, you know, we'd have a little routine. We'd get up, watch the rain for a bit, and, you know, we just coconut trees in the garden room. And it's ridiculous for us coming from Ponty. Just drive down the hill, go to, you know, grab a coffee in the store and then go to his house. Just record all day. And then back home, the boys were surfing every day. It was just surreal, you know.
Bob's work with the Prophets secured the #1 album back in the UK.